In this lesson, we're going to show you how you can create project presets. And if you're a first-time user or new user to Edius, you might be wondering, well, why would we want to do that? And didn't we do that when we first started Edius the first time we created some presets? Well, those were created by Edius as you chose the media that you typically use. However, well, let's just open this up here for a second and show you what I'm talking about. And let's start a new project. Let's just give it a name. And we'll notice here are the project presets that Edius created based on the information that you ticked, the little boxes that you ticked the first time you ran the program. However, a lot of times there are some customization that you may want to do to fine-tune the project presets that Edius gave, and so you'll end up choosing one that's close to what you want. Let's say the high definition project here at 29.97 is the one that you want. And you know, though, that there are some things about this preset that aren't quite the way you want to run your project, so you hit customize. You go in and you make changes in these settings here. For example, I usually like to get rid of the T tracks, make that 0, and VA tracks, get rid of those, and overscan size image, get rid of that. And let's just say that's all I want to do for now. We hit OK. That starts the project, but Edius doesn't remember those fine-tuned customizations that I've just done. And so the next time I go to start an HD project, I'm going to have to go back in and make those customizations one more time. And so that's why a lot of people like to set up a custom preset where you make the settings exactly how you want them and then use those settings. All right, and where we do that is up here in our menu settings at the top. Let's choose the menu option settings and go into system settings. And when you first open this up, this may actually look more like that. What we want to do is open up the application menu options and look for an option called project preset. Click on that, and we'll see that all of the settings that you created the first time you ran the program with the help of Edius are showing up here now as our current project presets. But we know that we're not quite happy and we want to fine-tune these a little bit, so I'm going to go in and delete all of these. Okay, here we are with a blank slate, and what we'll do is we'll hit New Preset, and then what you'll have to do at this point is determine what are the main presets that I will want to be using as I start new projects. And so I'm going to create maybe 3 or 4 that I typically use. If you get a brand new camera, of course, and it requires a particular preset to work with that new camera, you can always come back to this option here in System Settings and create a new one for that camera. But I'm going to go with, let's say the first one is a typical edit for me is HD project at 29.97 and progressive. And we can select an icon that might go with that. Let's see what we've got here. Probably FHD. I'm guessing, at least for my purposes, we'll call that full HD. And then from our little down arrow scroll down options here, let's choose a high definition setting that goes with 29.97p. There we go, right there. And then our audio preset will go with a 48. 2-channel is fine, at least for my purposes. You might have a camera that records 4 separate audio channels, and then of course you'd want to go with something more like a 48 kilohertz at 4 channels, but for most cameras 2-channel is fine. And then we could check out the advanced, and BT709 is what we're looking for. And then over here in render format, for this HD project, we'll just choose the HQ Fine. Just choose the HQ Fine. The overscan size, I put to 0, and we can talk about that in another tutorial as to the reason why it's good to set that to 0. But for now, let's just set it there. And then audio reference level, I like at 12 dB. And then we'll get rid of our VA tracks and our T tracks and give ourselves, let's say, 2 tracks of video to start off a project. You can always add more once you're into the project. Okay, so that is the setting that I like to have when I start an HD project. And so we hit OK. And now I have a project setting just the way I like it, customized according to the way that I like to start a project. Maybe just add one more here for the purposes of this tutorial. Let's put in maybe a 4K project. We'll call it 4K. And again, my camera shoots at 29.97 progressive. And we can select an icon for that. Just any one of these 4K would be fine. And for video preset, we're going to go in and choose the QFHD 3840 times 2160 at 29.97p. And our audio preset again would be the 2-channel. Everything looks okay there. Render format. Now, because this is a 4K project, let's go to the HQX Fine. And again, we'll make our changes here to the way that we like them. And hit OK. So now we have these are the two main presets that I might use in a typical edit project. But you might, if you've still got clients that want to have a standard definition and you find yourself working with old footage, for example, in a lot of projects, you might want to set up a preset for standard definition. Any one of these SD would be fine. Doesn't matter really which color you check. And then we choose a preset that has that standard definition. Here in Canada, we're working with NTSC, so we'll look for the standard 720 by 480. And most of this footage that I have from the standard definition days are actually in 4:3 at 59.94 interlaced. So that's the setting that I'll go with, just in case I have to go back and work with one of those old projects. Okay, so now we have 3 settings. Let's hit OK and close out of our project, start up our project again, and see if those 3 settings are there. Hit New Project. And here's our 3 settings. And just to confirm that it took and remembers all of those settings that we chose, let's hit the Customize box and hit OK. And sure enough, we've got 0 VA tracks, 0 T tracks. Our overscan size is 0. It's using the render format that we want. So everything looks good. And so from now on, every time I start a project using these customized settings, the project will open just the way that I like it. All right, well, I believe that does it for how to create project presets.